Hello, everyone. Welcome to IBTS Canada. So, today's class, we will continue what we started yesterday. Just a brief summary about yesterday's class. We've been talking about the reported speech, and we said there's the reporting verbs. There's a lot of important verbs we mentioned and how the structure is to use them. We also said that the common ones are say and tell. Of course, we've talked about backshifting, which is basically when you are reporting something that was said, it means that that thing is in the past. So you have to shift one tense backwards. We said the further thing that you can go when it comes to backshifting is to the past perfect. And then we also spoke about how we can backshift the verbs in details, how we can shift the reporting model verbs. And we also spoke about different kind of reporting formats. All right. We spoke about a little bit about Elon Musk. Just an introduction about him. We talked about this one. This was the last slide, if you guys remember. Right here. Okay. I'll talk about Hedi Lamar because this one is basically about yesterday's class. So I'll shift to Hedi Lamar. So Hedi Lamar is a well-known actress. She's from Australia. Of course, she is a genius scientist that helped the United States in the World War II against the Nazis. She invented what we know right now, the equivalence of what we know right now, the Wi-Fi, GPS, Bluetooth. Now, so it's a secret communication system that only the US military was using to communicate. And the problem was at the beginning is that the radio waves were crashing, and sometimes they were unable to reach the person, and sometimes other people can crash into that radio wave. So she invented what we call the split spectrum technology, which is just like a radio system, but it's more advanced. And just to be brief. So that is her invention, and she got an award. It's like basically an Oscar, but for inventions. She's the first woman who got that award back in that time. So she's not only, a model and, a pretty face or an actress, she's also an inventor. So that is about this personality. And the next thing that we need to discuss is about this article about her. Honestly, because it's Ramadan, I'll be very brief, and this is why I skipped the, fill in the blank of the previous class, because we need just to go a little bit faster and be more productive since you guys are fasting. So I'll go straight forward to the grammar lesson. So I basically summarized all the articles of what I told you, but there's still things that you can read, and it could be also very interesting, as she is a really interesting personality. And that's not her real name, Hedi Lamar. This is just her Hollywood name. All right. Now, when it comes to reporting speech, There's only one thing left, is to talk about how to make indirect questions, or how to make a reported question. Now, there is different type of questions in English language, as you all know. I will start by the yes or no question, and then I'll go with the WH, or guys. All right, let's go to WH question. Although, like, okay, I feel like you're more like focused at the beginning. All right. So the WH question, as you know, is basically who, what, when, where, why, and how. You all know that, right? So, for example, if the question was, where are you going? Or where do you live? Or are you happy? So there is a difference, basically, as we talked about it earlier in Unit 1 and Unit 2, the type of questions. But what matters here for you is to focus for the first one is on the WH question. So for the WH questions, like where do you live? Where are you going? If you want to narrate that question, again, you're not asking the question to the person, you're just narrating that question. So the format is going to change. Instead of where do you live, she asked me where I lived. Okay, so the back shifting is there. All the rules that we talked about yesterday about the can, the could that stays the same, and all of that is there. So you just keep the WH question, and you are dropping the auxiliary, basically. So the structure is like that. He or she, whatever the person asked, and then the person, me, you, whatever the situation is. So asked the person, WH question plus subject verb. So it's important that we go like that. We forget about, because we are narrating the question, we forget about, the real structure when you are reporting. Because a lot of people go, oh, okay, so where do you live? Yes, she asked me where do you live. That is not how it works in English language. All right, so WH question, subject verb. That being said, what do you do? He asked me what I did. So the subject is I, because he asked me. Okay, and be careful when it comes to that. The person that you're talking to, if it was not mentioned who is the person that you're referring to, the answer will still be correct, as you are presuming the answer, right? But it should be always clear and there. So that's it for the WH question. Pretty simple. WH subject verb. Now for the yes or no question, okay. Of course, all the rules applies to all the reporting structures when it comes to back shifting, the timing, the pronouns and all of that. So here, because it's a question and it's yes or no question, we always use the reporting verb asked, okay, because it's a question, like logically, right? So for example, we can say, that lady asked me if I was a student at IBTS Canada. The referring to the person, which is asked me, is optional, but if it helps you to better structure your question, then definitely use it. Now, as if the structure is asked, which is the verb ask, plus if, sometimes you can use with the yes or no question whether. It's the same as if, equivalent. Subject verb. So we use asked, if, or whether, subject verb. All right. Again, the reported question is not like the real question. So we don't need to put question mark, okay? And we don't need to follow the question rules. We're following the reported speech rules. Finally, just like the last thing is the imperatives, which is we talked about it in unit 7 or unit 8. And the imperatives, we said there are all commands or structures that instructions. So it's called also the imperative, like when you are, for example, in a classroom and there's kids talking, for example, we said, okay, kids, please be quiet. Okay, so this is the commands or the imperatives. However, when it comes to reporting these commands, we use tell, right? Okay, so the structure is tell. Okay, so he told me, she told them. Okay, so tell, after tell, you have the person. So whatever that person was talking to, okay, the person. Plus, the structure is to plus infinitive. So to plus the base verb. So sit down. She told her children to sit down. As simple as it is, okay? So those are the basic and very important rules for today's exercises. So here you can see in this slide right here is you got the WH question and the are you happy? And we said the structure for the WH is basically subject verb. And for your yes or no questions, we use asked if, subject verb, or whether. Okay, let's practice reporting some questions right here. Okay, now these are actually the opposite. So you got to rewrite the questions in reported speech. So you have to basically, as we said, for these exercises, more than one answer is possible, just to note down. So here, this one, go ahead, Mohammed, please.
Yes, teacher. For number 1, Alice, where is the school? Alice asked, where is the school?
Yes, exactly. But before that, so Alice asked where, that's good. Then after where we have the subject and the verb. What's the subject here? The school.
School, yes.
So Alice asked where the school, and then the verb is in the present tense become
was
in the
Past.
in the past, exactly. So the answer is Alice asked where the school was.
Yes, yes. Okay.
All right, we're just getting warmed up. So yes, go ahead, please, Nawal.
for second one. Greta asked me, or asked Greta asked if she got a bus to the city.
If she
Got
yes
a bus to to the city.
Okay, for this one is a bit different because look here.
Should I try?
Yes or no?
If she could,
Exactly.
if she could.
Exactly. So Greta asked or inquired if she, after she, the verb is can, because remember that we flip it in the yes or no question. So my verb is could. And then you put get a bus to the city. So Greta inquired or asked if she could get. Okay. The next one is a WH question, and the speaker is Stewart. How far is the cafe? So you can use any reporting verb. We can say Stewart wondered how far the cafe was. Okay. So
How far the cafe was?
So Stewart wondered or asked how far the cafe was. Again, subject, verb. Okay. And the verb we back shifted. All right. So let's do for Michael. Do you know a good restaurant in the neighborhood? Go ahead, please.
Michelle inquired if I know a good restaurant in the neighborhood. If I know,
you, yes.
N-E-W,
Yes.
a good restaurant in the neighborhood.
Exactly. Great job. So basically if or whether, and then you got the subject and the verb back shifted. Okay. So great job, Nawal. Let's move on to the next exercise here. Here is all about Lamar. She's beauty and brain. She did a lot of achievement.
Ms. Mariam, sorry.
Yes.
Can you please repeat number 4, please?
Number 4, Michael, do you know a good restaurant in the neighborhood? So this one is a yes or no question. We use if. So Michael wondered or asked if you or I or whatever like the person is, or if I. This is why I said there's multiple possible answer, because the person that we're referring to is not mentioned in the question. So if I knew a good restaurant in the neighborhood. So now it's present simple, as now it's past simple.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. So yeah, basically Lamar and her torpedo and the frequency that we spoke about. So she is very like a unique personality and a unique woman, honestly. Okay, let's practice reported speech here. We need in this exercise to rewrite all the direct speech about Hedi Lamar. Use the verb provided and structures you have learned. Okay. Here, I'll do the first one just to like Alex. Did she like being an actress? And the verb here we have wonder. So Alex wondered if, because that's yes or no question, or whether, and then the subject verb. So if she liked, because I backshift, being an actress. Continue normally. Number 2, go ahead, Nawad, please. The name is Dieter, or
Dieter stayed. Sorriness for this one. Sorry.
So Dieter, we have the verb state. So we say stated. Dieter stated that she was intelligent and beautiful. So Dieter stated that she was intelligent and beautiful. Okay. Again, there's a thing about reported speech. Sometimes if the thing is still there, or they're talking about some characteristic, then it's gonna stay the same. Okay, it's hard to report something that is a fact. The third one, my grandmother, and the verb tell. So my grandmother, yes, go ahead. Who is it, Sunny or Nawal?
Noel.
Yes, go ahead,
Yes.
Nawal.
My grandmother told me that she had loved watching Hedi in movie.
Yes, Hedi in movies, exactly. Her movies were really on the top lists, like watched the movie. And let's check the Hedi. Go ahead, Sunny, please. Number 4.
Hedi believed that he will eventually become a famous science.
So Hedi believed,
Believed.
and then the subject, she, would, because it's well, we have to backshift, eventually become a famous scientist. All right. Then let's go to the next one. Here we have this exercise. Reported questions, write a dialogue and reported speech based on the information. So you got your questions here in front of you from A to H. And then you just need to complete the text using the indirect speech. So, for example, yesterday I went to the doctor. Naturally, she first asked me if yeah, exactly, if I felt well. So that's what, if you're reporting what the doctor asked. And then I told her here, I had pain or a pain in my stomach. She asked what I had exactly what I had eaten recently. I hadn't eaten anything unusual, just a normal breakfast of fruits and porridge, and a couple of sandwiches for lunch. She wanted to know how much subject coffee, how much coffee I drank. How much coffee I drank. Then I remember that morning I had drunk at least 4 or 5 cups of coffee. She asked me if I drank that much every day. I never really thought about it, but I guess that answer was yes. She complained that I drank so much. I promised not to drink too much coffee. She also recommended drinking more water. We said like the verb recommended needs the gerund, so verb ing. Okay, so far for this one, it's also it could have also different possible answers, right? Is it clear? gonna go to the last exercise, you guys. I promised you in Ramadan, I'm not gonna be heavy on you guys. So are the statements correct or not correct? And can you fix them? He is just reporting the speech and just we're gonna check if they're correct or not. He complained to have too much work.
False. Is it false?
It's
False.
it's incorrect. Great job. So he complained that he had too much work. And then the second one, what do you guys think about it? Go ahead, Nawal, please.
True.
Yes, it's true, it's correct. The third one, she wanted to know when was he coming. Go ahead, Mohammed.
I think it's true.
4, she wanted,
Number 3, she wanted to know
yeah, when
when was he coming? When was he come?
So it's incorrect because she wanted to know, no, just one second. She wanted to know
Teacher.
When he was.
when he was coming.
Yes.
Yes.
Exactly. So it's what? It's the opposite. You just flip it. It's just
Yeah,
like
opposite. Yeah.
when type of, because I see it correctly, but then I look at it like, this is so tricky. This is
This is a tricky sentence.
cheeky in Ramadan. Okay, number 4, he promised finishing the report by the end of the week. So it's incorrect. Who can tell us why? Go ahead, Sunny, please.
I think he promised that finishing the report by the end of the week.
So promised is one of the verbs that take to plus infinitive. So he promised to finish the report
He promised to
at the end of the week. Okay, so I'll send you the answers of the rest of the exercises. For today's class, there is no assignment. Do you guys have any questions regarding the WH, yes or no, or the comments?
No, thank you.
All right, so thank you
you.
so much for joining today, and I'll meet you tomorrow at the same time. Have a great one, everyone.
Thank you.